the Soldiers Memorial that stood at the corner of Route 42 and Industrial Parkway in New California for years. If you haven't been by there lately, it's not there right now. Due to concerns about the safety of that monument and other issues, the Jerome Township Soldiers Memorial Committee was formed to move that monument to safer ground. Speaking to us today is Mr. John Hammond, a member of that committee and a relative of many of those Civil War soldiers whose names are inscribed on that monument. Mr. Hammond.
We are here today, of course, to honor all veterans, regardless of the war in which they served, regardless of the time period in which they served. But my special topic here is the veterans of the Civil War. Memorial Day began with the Civil War, and very few parts of the country responded to Lincoln's call for volunteers like this area. The people of this region of central Ohio responded like nobody else. 100 years ago, on Memorial Day 1913, the surviving Civil War veterans of Jerome Township dedicated a statue at New California in memory of their historic service in saving the Union. Now, in 2013, Jerome Township will honor their memory again by restoring and repositioning the statue in a safer position 50 yards back from its previously imperiled position, only a few feet from heavy truck traffic along Route 42. In addition, a beautiful 1-acre park will be developed around the statue with safe parking and accessible walkways for visitors, as well as an additional wall on which we will honor all veterans of all wars who have lived in Jerome Township. This is one of Ohio's most historic Civil War memorials. First, both its design and its site were selected by the veterans themselves. These were men who had seen some of the hardest fighting of the Civil War, from Shiloh and Antietam to Missionary Ridge, Kennesaw Mountain, the march through Georgia and up through the Carolinas, and including especially Vicksburg, Gettysburg, and Chickamauga, which they had inscribed on the base of the monument. And men who knew their sacrifice had helped to save this nation, and they did not want their sacrifice forgotten. Second, many of the men had volunteered on that very site at New California, right there, at the staunchly anti-slavery New California Presbyterian Church, only days after Lincoln called for volunteers in April of 1861. On April 24th of that year, the Reverend B.D. Evans placed both a Bible and some bullets on his pulpit, gave a patriotic speech, and over 40 men volunteered on the spot, including the Reverend Evans himself. Third, they designed the monument to honor the township's fighting men, regular fighting men. And so they topped it not with a statue of some famous general on horseback, but with the simple figure of a citizen soldier, standing with his rifle and his knapsack ready to march as they had marched. Finally, they placed on the monument's base the names of every single soldier from Jerome Township. 367 men out of a population of less than 1,400. The highest per capita service rate of any township in Ohio. 75 of these men died in service, and 17 are buried in the New California Church Cemetery next door. This is a truly historic monument on a truly historic site. Sadly, after all these men passed on, their memory was almost lost as the monument's 1913 placement, intended for horse and buggy access, became unsafe and inaccessible in an age of high-speed trucks and autos. Gradually, the spot on which it stood began to serve simple commercial purposes. It was a pizza place, a used car lot, and finally a cut-through for motorcycles, cars, and even 18-wheelers, which sometimes barely missed hitting the statue. That is how endangered this monument was, and how fragile was the glorious history it preserved. Now, thanks to the efforts of the Jerome Township trustees, this history is being resurrected, and the special role the people of this township and this area of central Ohio played in helping to save the Union is being revived and re-honored 100 years after its first dedication. The statue, which is currently being restored, will be reconstructed in place 50 yards back from the road this summer, and we will rededicate it on October 5th with a ceremony that replicates key parts of its original dedication by the brave men who served. But to give this statue the setting it deserves, with the graceful landscaping and lovely trees and Veterans Wall, additional Veterans Wall, will require additional funding. If you would like to make a donation, please visit the Jerome Township website for information. All contributions are tax deductible, and all donors will be recognized with brick pavers at the memorial site. This, as I said, is a truly historic monument, not one that was dedicated years later, but by the Civil War veterans themselves. It is a priceless piece of history, and it's one that all of us in Central Ohio, especially the northwest quadrant of Central Ohio, can take pride in. Thank you very much.